And live from the P-Head Studios in Tullahoma, Tennessee, it's Channel 6 The Link's presentation of Just Plain Living. And I'm John Gray.
Good morning, I'm Peggy Burton.
And I'm Jim Fuller. And John's carrying me a little fast for this early in the morning.
Well, Julia said we were live somewhere, so I figured I'd just make it real.
Yeah.
It's good to make things real.
It's good to make things real. So many things aren't anymore.
Boy, that's the truth. It sure is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think summer may be almost here. It's going to be warm
It's
all week.
warm. Yeah, it's going to be
3
warm,
days
but
of
I've seen it snow before
I know,
in May.
And that's really something.
Have we
hold
really
your
seen
breath.
snow?
Yeah, it
in May?
snowed
I
the
don't
first of May. Snowed the first of May. I mean, it didn't snow, but
Yeah.
it got cold and put some white on the ground the first week of May, sometime
'Cause
about
now
5-6 years ago.
supposedly it's safe to plant your flowers now, isn't it?
Well, it's supposed to be safe then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your tomatoes and stuff, so I need to go grab some plants.
Do you plant tomatoes at your
On
place?
occasion I do because I
Cucumbers?
I need to, no. I just have I'll put a pot out and I'll put a tomato in it. If it grows good, if it doesn't, well, I'll go buy some. But I do like to grow something.
Well, yeah.
There's still a little farmer left in me.
You know, one year.
That's a song right there. There's still a little farmer left in me.
That's right.
Thank
Think
you.
about that. You know,
Write that down.
you guys know Colin Lawrence, of course.
Oh, yeah, Colin.
He and Pam decided one summer that they were going to plant a garden at the office I have over on North Washington. And I refused to participate in it because when I was a kid, I was required to work in the
Right.
garden, and I didn't
We all
like it.
were,
I
yeah.
didn't like it. But they pretty much ruined the backyard of the office over there, and they started out pretty well. There were some tomatoes and stuff coming out of there on a regular basis. But anyway, I guess it probably cost $400 or $500
More.
to get those tomatoes. My guess
I know.
is,
Yeah.
and
$4 a piece.
yeah, something like that. It was. I remember figuring it up at that point. It was not very economically feasible. But anyway, about midway through the summer when it was hot, they quit working it. So it just grew up into this amazing big weed pile out there. You
for
know.
you to deal with.
Now, let me
so-
guess. Let me put on my thinking
But we do
hat.
need to say, if
knowing these people and make
sorry.
a guess, you ended up having to clean all of it up, didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're eating today, thank a farmer. I'm all
Yes.
for the farmer.
Absolutely.
We need to promote them.
I am
push
too. I
them.
just don't like to do it
No,
myself. But-
Well, you know, and when I lived on Washington Street in that big house on that old house on the old Granberry house.
Yeah.
Mr. Jenkins lived next door to me. Well, early on, all of those homes there, before the homes were built on the street back in there behind them, Stegall, those lots went all the way back through there. And there were barns back there, and people had horses back there in town at that point, and livestock. And the ground back there is, I mean, it's black dirt this deep.
Yeah.
You grow anything,
Really
probably.
good gardening. So Mr. Jenkins, next to me, was a gardener. So he had a garden, so I thought, I'm going to do this. Well, I busted me up a little garden. Nah. The only thing I enjoyed about it was going barefoot in the dirt.
Yeah.
Other than that, I could work an extra 15 minutes and buy everything that I raised in that garden.
But you got to admit, there's nothing better than fresh farm-raised tomatoes and
Oh,
corn.
of course. But and some
all
people
that stuff.
love doing that work. They love what garden is therapy for.
Oh, yeah,
It
absolutely.
wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Plus,
me either.
Mr. Jenkins had
You
4
continue to
freezers.
need therapy.
Mr. Jenkins had 4 freezers, and at the end of a season, he'd have to empty 2 of them.
And so you'd get some.
And I'd get all
yeah.
whatever I wanted out. So it's like, you know, watching a movie a year after it comes out at the theater on TV.
Yeah.
Still a good movie.
Yeah.
You just wait a little while for it.
Right, exactly. I mean, once you get in the cycle, it's
It's the same.
Yeah, right.
But I have always thought, and maybe they do it here in Tullahoma, that places where people don't have enough food to eat, give them a plot of ground where everybody goes and works there and raises some of their food. What would be wrong with that?
They won't do it because the government gives food to them.
I know.
They won't
but
do it. They won't work.
Incentive has been squashed.
Those kind of
Which is
people
too bad.
won't work. I mean, there's not a great deal of them in society, but there is a certain amount of them that won't work. They just won't work.
And anyway, I still think a public garden's a good idea.
Well, when my granddad and grandmother moved from Bonacqua, Tennessee, Dixon County over there, and went to Oak Ridge, when they were building Oak Ridge,
Yeah.
of course, everybody who could ride a mule, walk, or crawl went to Oak Ridge for a job. And what they found out was all of a sudden they ended up with 60, 70,000 people there that were farmers.
Yeah.
And they couldn't raise their food, and they didn't like going to the cafeteria and all that. So they picked a spot, and it was called Gamble Valley, where there was a big creek running through and a hill up here. And that was all that bottom next to that creek was rich, and so
I didn't realize
they
they did
cut it
that.
up into garden spaces and had a lottery for it.
Oh,
And if you were lucky, you
got a
won
little
a
spot.
garden space, and you
That's
could go over
wonderful.
there and raise. You know, just because you won it one year doesn't mean you get it the next year. And some of the spaces were maybe as big as 20 yards by 20 yards, and some of them were 10 by 10. You know, just depended on what how lucky you were and what you wanted. But they'd go over there and work their gardens.
I think it's important.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I think there should be a little class in school where you learn to plant a seed. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, Parks and Rec has a community garden up there by CD Stamps, and that gets bigger and bigger every year. And I hope we could show some video today of Earth Day, because I had a really good conversation over there with the lady who's in charge of the Tennessee environmental group and all of that, UT Extension, and they're really, really, really working hard to try to do exactly what you were talking about, and have
Fantastic.
community gardens, and have these kids come and learn how to grow stuff. And I mean, there's people out there trying to do that in a big way. Now, whether they can get the people who really need to be doing it to buy into it's another thing.
Well, it's just very important, and I hope that it's a big success.
Oh yeah. And she's new, and I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but it'll be on the video at UTSI, or University of Tennessee Extension Center out there, and man, she's fired up and ready. Mm-hmm. She's excited. She's young. She's excited. She's very smart, and so it's good.
It's amazing. I guess how much you can grow on a relatively small.
Oh, yeah.
It does not take a lot of.
Because I remember my grandmother and I, we pretty much lived off of a small garden. You know?
That's why I never went hungry.
Yeah, right.
Well,
we'd kill a cow and raise a garden.
of course, Daddy was from a farm in Louisiana, and Mama was farmer from a farm here in Tennessee, and when we lived on Druid Lane, he had a little garden. Mama had a little flowers, and he had a little garden. Well, they bought a house over on Hood Drive, and Ward Armstead owned that property over there. So Daddy goes to plant a garden, and Wirt comes over and says, "You can't have a garden here. Can't hang your clothes out on the clothesline.
I know, that's why I live out in
Can't
the
have your garden here.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me
Can't
what
see
to
your
do.
garbage cans."
Right.
And so Daddy thought, okay, can I have flowers? Yeah, you can have flowers. So he plowed him a place by the driveway about as wide as this, and he'd have a low flower here, and then behind it he'd have a hill of cucumbers.
There you go.
He'd have a higher flower behind it, and have a tomato plants back there, and a higher flower and okra behind.
Yeah.
So he hid his garden
And it's
behind the
amazing what you
flowers.
can grow in a flower pot, really. You can grow it out on your sunroom or by a window if you're really ambitious. I think that this would instill dignity and pride in people when they're raising their own food.
Oh yeah, it
Instead of
does.
taking it, from the government.
It does.
I agree. I remember
I
one of the
think that's
greatest something that gave me great satisfaction one day. I was sitting out in the afternoon on my patio where I used to live on First Avenue, and I looked over in this flower bed that at that point had no flowers in it. And there were two little twigs growing up, and I liked to look at them as I,
Enjoyed your afternoon libation.
Yes, and I got to looking at them, and I thought they weren't but about that tall, and I thought those are trees. So the next morning, I went out and scooped them out and took them to my office and put them in a flower pot, and they kept growing and growing and growing. And,
Did you finally put them in the ground?
I finally planted them in the ground, and they grew up, and now they're 20 foot tall.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! What kind? Do you know what kind they were?
I have no idea what kind they were. But one of them,
They're fuller trees.
But one of them just had just a little bit of root, and I thought this scrawny thing.
Is not going to work.
Will never live, but it did.
It did.
Yeah.
You know, but
that is
anyway,
awesome.
Anyway.
I have a little Japanese maple, and I keep trying to find a little, a twig growing up, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to have another one. I love that little tree.
Yeah. There's probably
There
some
must-
way.
Well,
to-
you
There's
can
another way, I guess.
you can take what you can do is take and cut one of the smaller pieces off of it and put it in a glass of water, and it'll root.
And it'll root? Okay, I'll try that.
Try that. I mean, some of them will and some of them
Yeah.
won't. But that's how they.
But a lot of trees will grow little sprouts up.
Yeah.
Particularly if they have seed, because where
Yeah.
that seed drops, unless it
Then
gets
you got a
lawn mowed
tree,
up
yeah.
or whatever, that stuff. It usually gets mowed down before it has an opportunity to
Yeah.
come up. And all of them can't live.
All of them can't
Right.
live, I know. That's
So.
the way it is of people and plants.
That's right.
We all
That's
can't
right.
live. I'm glad we still are.
Right.
Hey, today's going on right now, so it'll be late after this,
yeah.
but the Special Olympics is happening today over at the high school.
Yes.
We hope all those folks have or had a great day today. It's a wonderful event.
And a lot of nonprofits are looking to the Big Payback.
Big Payback is this week.
And
What's
so
that, tomorrow?
That's tomorrow. So if you have a nonprofit that you're fond of,
Give
try
money to South Jackson.
Give
Give
some
money to
money.
P-Head Productions.
There you go.
We might not be a 501c3, but we are a
We are a
nonprofit. I guarantee you
nonprofit.
that. And with that said, pay attention to our commercials. Go visit our sponsors, and while you're there, thanking them for supporting us, buy something. We'll be right back.
Russell's got your truck, man. Russell's got your truck.
Big, bigger, and even bigger. Russell Barnett has any size truck for any size need. Chevrolet, Ford, GMC, Ram. Check us out on the web at russellbarnett.com. Our selection is so huge, we may need our own zip code. So my question is, why buy your next truck anywhere else?
With the best selection anywhere. Russell's got your truck, man.
All I have to do is think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday Miracles at Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Mark Allen, candidate for Coffee County Mayor. I am a husband, father, and public servant, and not a politician. I have been a government auditor, finance director, and small business owner for over 35 years, and I know numbers. I've seen the numbers for Coffee County, and I see a mess without vision or direction for the future. We have a high debt of $84 million with infrastructure wearing out before it's paid for. County employees not being paid a livable wage, and one of the highest property taxes in the state. What are we getting for our money? It's mismanagement at best. We need real change. The status quo is unacceptable. Vote Mark Allen on May 1st in the Coffee County Republican primary, and let's hold Coffee County accountable again. To the citizens of Tullahoma, Coffee County is your county. Get out and vote. No matter who you vote for, show the politicians it's your county too.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As most of you know, last Friday was Arbor Day across the nation, and also was celebrated in Tullahoma. Tullahoma is designated as a Tree City, USA, and has had that designation for some time. And lots of activities were happening in Tullahoma as well. And we're going to bring you some video of Arbor Day, which happened last Friday.
I believe is our 20-something year to earn the Tree City designation, 21st year, which is really extraordinary. And that's one of the things I'm really, as mayor, most proud of, is that recognition. How many of you have flown over Tullahoma in a small plane? I mean, Tullahoma is absolutely beautiful if you smile. The tree canopy is really, really beautiful, and it really adds to the beauty of our community. And so I'm pleased that there's a group that's dedicated to preserving and enhancing our tree canopy. It's very, very important. So I'm pleased to join with Alderman Robin Dunn in proclaiming today Arbor Day in Tullahoma. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas Tullahoma has been certified as a state arboretum, and whereas Tullahoma has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation, and whereas the Tullahoma Tree Board encourages our citizens to participate in activities to increase, promote, and nurture our urban and natural forests. Now therefore, I, Lane Curley, Mayor of the City of Tullahoma, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim April 27, 2018 as Arbor Day in the City of Tullahoma, and urge all citizens to support efforts to care for our trees and woodlands and support our community's forestry program. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. So, Mr. Graham, let me present this to you as chairman of our tree board.
I am here to present the City of Tullahoma with the Tree City USA Award, and to Tullahoma Utility Authority with the Tree Line USA Award. This will be the 21st award for Tree City here in Tullahoma, and the 7th year for Tullahoma Utility Authority. But before we get started and before we present those, I'd like to make two challenges. I had the opportunity to drive through and actually pay attention to the City of Tullahoma up and down the streets. And it's like the mayor said, we're pretty privileged here in the city. I mean, you go places down and around and you see a lot of the businesses that have already started planting trees in their area, and that is awesome. And that's just like Vision Source here, and that is a really great thing to see. And it's like the mayor said, if you do get to fly over it, you get to see just how much canopy that we have. But my first challenge is this. As we're going around, if we're driving around town, or even if we're just looking up on Google Earth, take the opportunity to pay attention to some of these areas that are businesses that may have not had the opportunity to plant trees yet, or we have these large concrete and asphalt surfaces that we could probably help persuade the planting of trees in their parking lots. That's my first challenge, because I know that we can do it, and I know the city can do it. And let's tap into those resources that we have to help in this. Just like the tree board, I know on the Tullahoma website they have a list of trees on there that they recommend. Let's use that. Let's also look at TUA's list that goes along with the right tree for the right place. And also, if you don't, as a last resource, I hope not a last resource, but also contact the Division of Forestry, where we can help with management skills and the planting of some of these places with our trees as well. Just as a side note, we do have 5,000 to 7,000 trees that we're looking to distribute to folks. So if you're interested in it, just give us a call and we'll be more than glad to do that. But we're also looking at that as a possible way to not only maintain the urban forest that we already have, but it's also a great way to expand our urban forest here in the city of Tullahoma. So I know that if you get a chance, take a look at that, and I guess, let Ralph know or the mayor's office or whatever, and that way that maybe some kind of work can be done with those areas. The second one that I want to challenge folks, and this is going to be a little more difficult, but it's a problem that is across the entire state. And it is we want folks to help stop the progression of invasive plants and trees that we have. These things creep in without us knowing it. And then eventually it takes over an area. For instance, like species of tree of heaven, which I will tell you is not too heavenly, okay? That thing is a bad menace. Privet, mimosa, Japanese honeysuckle, English ivy, and those kind of species that will just take over not only along our creeks and streams, but also in vacant lots that we might have around. But I believe, though, that this task can be accomplished in the city if we really work at it hard. Now, I know I've said it in times past that there is a lot of time and a lot of effort that goes into all of this for the year. It's not just about filling out a piece of paper and sending it back to Nashville and we get recognized for that. It's not like that. And so there's so many that works on this that they kind of get blended into the background. They don't get recognized as often, So I want to say thank you to the tree board here, the mayor and alderman, Tullahoma Utility Authority, and all of the citizens of the city of Tullahoma for making this possible. Not only in helping the city maintain that urban forestry canopy that we have, but we also push to have the expand that urban forestry canopy as well. So it gives me great pleasure for this year, like I said, for the 21st time, if Ralph and the tree board would come up, I will present the Tree City USA Award, and the mayor, if you would. And also, Monty and the TUA, if you would, I'll present the Tree Line USA Award.
Well, this is another great day for the city. We're presenting the Tree Board Award to Vision Source for their outstanding planting of trees and the way they enhance the city. And I'd like to read this: to recognize the planting of trees which enhance our community by increasing the canopy of Tullahoma's urban forest. And I'd like to present this to Dr. McBride. Not only did they meet the city requirement for planting trees, they nearly doubled the number of trees. So they went above and beyond. This is a beautiful place, and it's a great privilege to say thank you for this, and for the city of Tullahoma. I appreciate Vision Source and what you've done. Thank you. Thank you. So we got. I would like to say a few words about the tree board and our mission in this city, and talk about some of our accomplishments and some of our challenges. The city established the tree board in 1998, and since that time, as you've heard, we've gotten 21 years of consecutive recognition as Tree City USA. And Stephen, you didn't, where is he? Stephen didn't mention these things, but I'm going to say them, see if I can get it right here. In order to be recognized Tree City USA, we have to devote $2 per capita for the caring for and maintenance of our trees in the city. $2 per capita. We also have to have a tree care ordinance, which we do, recently modified, and then we need to, number 3 is we have to have a tree board established. And number 4, we recognize Arbor Day. We have a proclamation. So we've done that for 21 years in a row. And I'd like to present another challenge to you. November the 29th, 2016. Anybody know what that day was? That's when the tornado hit this city and cut an 8-mile swath through it, knocking out 1,200 trees. I did a survey of that, and I'm sure it was more than that. These are those that just responded. 1,200 trees is a whack into our tree canopy. So I'm going to present a challenge to you too. Wherever you have a chance, private or public or commercial, plant trees. It's too late this year, but there's plenty of time. There's an old proverb I love to say. The Chinese proverb is, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now, okay? So I challenge you to plant trees. Think about it. This city is a beautiful place. We have 37% of our city is covered with trees. That's a big canopy coverage. So again, it's my privilege to serve on the tree board with my members, and we're here for you. If you have any questions about what tree to plant or where, let me know. We have a website with, as Stephen said, a list of trees that do well in this area, sorted by all different ways. I'm sorry, I'm an engineer, so I've got sorted by the common name, scientific name, persistence, evergreen, or deciduous, fast-growing, on and on. If you can't find a tree that way, call me. I'll help you find one, okay?
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, no, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and this is a segment right here that I enjoy doing so much. We've done it for, I think, 16 years now, and it is the week, not this Saturday. I'm going to let them explain it to you, but it's the Tullahoma Postal, well, not Tullahoma, I've lost my mind.
It's okay.
It is the postal carriers, mail carriers, weekend when you hang food on your mailbox, and that's a national deal. Cindy Kenny here with Good Samaritan.
And Missy McCann with Tullahoma Post Office.
And so they're here to talk about that, how to get the food out there, what to do, and why are you involved with this?
I am involved because I'm one of the 4 agencies that receives the food. Good Samaritan of Tullahoma, the Attic Outlet, Wesley Heights Methodist Church, and First Christian Church. We all have food pantries, and so this tremendous food drive that they do in the spring, we are the recipients, so we divvy up the food and each of us takes a share of it and it goes to our
Okay,
pantries.
well every year I put something up. Look, let's show this over here. That's we have on our bulletin board. That's the slide that's up on our bulletin board right now. And of course I changed the dates. Last year, and I've done numerous things, but last year I drew that mailbox, and if you can see right at the bottom of it's my name. What I want to do today, Missy, because you're the one that's been involved with this as much as anybody, but I'm going to present this to you. Get a close-up of that. That is a drawing of that, and what I did was I thought, well, I'm going to make it look like a stamp. And the slogan is "Help Stamp Out Hunger." And so I'm going to present this to the Tullahoma mail carriers, and it says, "Thank you, Tullahoma mail carriers, for your professional service."
Well, thank you so much.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it here today because I've set it up with the postmaster to be there next Wednesday morning. And all y'all, we're all going to gather up, and I'm going to present this to all the mail carriers.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
For y'all to have back hang it up somewhere where you can look at it and think about this old man, but think about the service that you do, that you've given to our community for many, many years, in our country for hundreds of years. But, the Tullahoma group down here is just absolutely fantastic, and I've got a hat that I wore in the other day that said "Be nice or leave" on it. And these folks have an incredibly difficult job to do down there, and most of us show up at lunchtime because that's when we have time to go to the post office. Everybody's there. They can't serve everybody in 30 minutes. And sometimes you'll see people get upset, and the professional way that the boys and girls behind that desk handle themselves is impressive. And what y'all do to do your job is impressive.
Well, that's really nice. That's really nice of you to say.
Well, it's a fact. It's true, and we just want all you folks out there to realize, look in your cupboard. I guarantee you've got something in there that you bought that you go, well, why in the world did I buy that? What'd you say, Julia? Capers. Julia said she looked in her cupboard and had a jar of capers, and she went, what in the world did I? That's going on the post box. But you never know what somebody who's hungry needs and how they can transform what you really don't think you need into a good meal for them and their family at their home.
Absolutely.
So that's why this is done, isn't it?
Yes. Exactly.
How many carriers are there, Missy?
Well, our rural, I'm really not sure of our rural count. There's
in town. Well, you're in town like you work town.
A little over 20, and that counts all of Tullahoma, because there's really more rural carriers than there are city carriers.
So the rural carriers that come out of Tullahoma, are there real carriers at the Manchester?
Yes.
So you're not doing all of Coffee County. You're just doing
We're just doing who we deliver mail to, and
okay.
Manchester will do it.
Right.
Manchester will take care of their customers, and we'll take care of our normal customers that we
county
deliver.
Customers who get Tullahoma delivery.
Right.
So there's probably rural carriers. There's probably another 10?
That's between us and them. There's probably 20 of us.
Oh, all of you together. There's probably
for
20
Tullahoma
of you.
area.
Well, you do a great job and a great service for our community. So, remember, folks, to put something in a bag. All you got's real simple, and put some good stuff in there too. You've got plenty of that. Don't just put capers in there. And not perishable.
The one thing that I would like to add is that Probably homemade is probably better than bought, but they can't distribute homemade.
Correct.
Right.
They just cannot. So if you put that in there, that's really going to end up being wasted. And we prefer no glass, not because we don't want what's in there, but if we're not careful, if we don't know it, we're going to throw it and it's going to break. So if you really need to put glass, I'm going to say put it up front if you can't avoid donating something in glass. Other than that, really anything. Anything.
Yeah, and I mean, food, I mean, I would sure, you know, that could include napkins, it could include paper towels. I mean, anything that a household, I mean, I know this is just for food, but if they've got some extra stuff that they don't need, throw a toothbrush in there if you've got an extra toothbrush.
What we refer to as dignity items.
Dignity items, that's right. Put that kind of stuff in there if you need to, but this basically is for food. And be generous. And you know, Tullahoma is a very generous town. We have a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of 501c3s, and everybody functions and everybody tries to help one another. And this is just a great example of how our United States Postal Service is serving us individually in every little town across the United States on that day, right?
That's true.
And that is just fantastic.
It amazes me how little we can do in the one day's time, how little we can do, I can do personally, and help so many. When I get done with my route that day and see all the food I've collected, I'm always surprised and thankful that I've been put in a position, like I said, where I can do so little and help so many.
Yeah, that's
I feel
really
real
great.
lucky.
That's really great. But you're one of the best, there's no doubt.
Well, that's nice of you to say, but we're...
Well, everybody, we're just more, we see each other and converse more than some of the rest of them. That's why I love her so much. But they do great work and a good organization, as do you. Oh, and we want you to know, don't put shoes in there because we have the heirs to the
yes, once again.
Kenny Shoe Company here and the Tom McCann right here.
People.
So we've got two shoe moguls or mogulesses. Okay, girls, thanks so much, and thank you again for the service both of you give our community, and keep it going.
We will.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thanks to everyone who's going to donate. Thank you.
Be right back.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home, our family caring for your family since 1932.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
How long has it been since you raced a cheetah? Are your tornado creating skills getting rusty? Tired of being the only one in your neighborhood who hasn't built a dinosaur? Sounds like it's time to visit the Hands-On Science Center. The Hands-On Science Center is an indoor science playground. In this museum, please touch is the rule. Join us for weekly science demonstrations on space, lasers, lizards, rocks, and a whole lot more. No two visits are ever the same, so visit often to see our ever-changing exhibits and demonstrations. The Hands-On Science Center, 101 Mitchell Boulevard in Tullahoma.
We're back, and you know, Tullahoma, so much is going on. It's just the greatest place in the world to live. We've got Jackie Duncan over here getting ready to come up and talk in a minute. But what we did the other day is, it was Earth Day. And Alderman Robin Dunn has been working hard on recycling and getting young people out to vote. Oh, and again, I hope you voted today for somebody. Doesn't make any difference what, I hope you voted. If you didn't, and you're not registered, go register and vote the next time. We need the people up there who are running things to know how we feel. The only way you can do that is to vote. Now, Robin Dunn had Earth Day, and it was the first Saturday in 12 weeks that it hadn't rained. How lucky is that girl? And it was at Fraser McEwen Park, and we had all kinds of stuff there, all kinds of things going on, and I went down there and got a little video of that, and it was a great event. This is the Earth Day celebration here, and it is being held at Fraser McEwen Park, and this is all about celebrating our earth and recycling and the things that we can do to better have a clean and good community and be good stewards of what good Lord gave us, and that's our planet. Here's the Tullahoma Community Garden, and that's a Parks and Rec program, and of course we've got people walking around, young people. Hey there, how you doing today?
Silver-powered car.
Ah, that's a good-looking car right there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What a wonderful thing.
It is.
It's a wonderful thing.
Brands are the best.
Oh, look at, I mean, they've turned out today for Earth Day in Tullahoma. Look at there. Look at those fish. Now look at that. Look how they're bubbling up. And when you cover up the solar panel, there's not as much energy. Look at that, isn't that cool? And that is Lightwave Solar.
Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool right there. And that's a product you sell?
Yes.
Good, and where are you located? Are you located around here?
Our office is in Laverne.
Laverne?
Laverne, just right next to Smyrna there.
There you go. Well, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely, we appreciate the chance.
Pick Tennessee products, that's right. Everything you can buy from Tennessee, you need to buy. We make more than whiskey around here.
We're representing UT Extension, the Coffee County or Tullahoma Literacy Council, and our 4-H development.
You've got all of it then, don't you? Good for you. Good for you.
Got information on how to save money, getting your GED, pollinating the environment by planting flowers, food for our bees, and then becoming
bees are people don't realize how important bees are, do
Bees
they?
are very important, so we're trying to save the bees.
Save the bees.
Right, so become a UT Extension volunteer and master gardener, and we'll teach you how to save the bees.
We're with Alderman Robin Dunn right now, and she's going to give us a report on Earth Day that she has worked diligently toward, and it looks like it's been a great success, Robin.
Oh, absolutely. We've got lots of folks from Tullahoma here. We've got lots of vendors. It's been the weather. I don't think we could have asked for better weather. It's a beautiful day, and there's hundreds of people out here just enjoying this time together and visiting, and it's just been great.
And learning about some things.
Learning about how we can better take care of our earth, learning about some of the organizations that we've got here in town and in our region. We've got and lots of fun, different children's activities going on. So I want to thank our sponsor, CFC Recycling, was a big part of this, and the Interlocal Solid Waste Authority was huge. And then we've had lots of volunteers who've given their time today. It's just been great.
Wonder where you are tonight. Now rain is slowly falling right there up on my window pane tonight. And though your love is colder than the first snow of the winter, I wonder where you are tonight.
Kay and Greg Gillum have added another touch of excellence to their furniture business. Now a newly stocked 20,000 square foot Badcock Home Furniture and More location in Tullahoma, Tennessee. Locally owned and operated and offering the same friendly professional service with the best prices on name brand products like their sister store in Winchester, Tennessee has for years. Visit the new Tullahoma location and shop name brand bedroom suits, electronic department with computers, tablets, 4K televisions, and accessories. A large complete appliance center to fit the style of any household. Beautiful selection of rugs that complement any person's taste. A variety of living room combinations all in one large showroom. That's right, Badcock Home Furniture and More has added a new location. 373 West Lincoln Street, Tullahoma, Tennessee. Offering special prices year-round. Financing is always available. Speedy delivery to your home or office. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Sunday, noon till 5 p.m. Call 931-222-4353.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
I am so blessed to be on the set today with Jackie Duncan. Hi, Jackie.
Hey, Peggy.
Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
I know you got some great things happening, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, so let's just get right to it.
Okay. One thing I want to talk about is it's called the SAG, or Saving Our Generation Tour. And it's a 6-city tour, and it's going to be in Tullahoma on May the 29th at 7 p.m. at Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Is that Saturday or Friday or Sunday?
I think that's a Tuesday, I believe.
Oh, Tuesday, okay.
It's Tuesday. And one of the reasons it's on a odd day like this is because it's a world-class tour. And, you know, you don't get to pick your greatest dates.
Exactly. You're lucky to get them on Tuesday.
Yeah, you're lucky to get them, period. So it's a 6-city tour, and the headliner on it is a gentleman that he's Tim Rogers, and his group is called Tim Rogers and the Fellows. And you can Google them up out there, or pull them up on your internet, and they are a dynamic group. A lot of their music's out there.
Oh,
and you can see if you like them. Yeah, just pull them up and see if you like them.
How big a group are they? Do you know? Are they 3 or 4, 10?
Tim Rogers is a minister, and he has, it's just a, you know, his whole song thing is a ministry, and he has like 2 other singers with him, and maybe 4 musicians or something like that.
Well, that's a pretty well-stocked act that they're bringing. And we need to tell everybody, if you want a ticket at $10,
$10 in advance.
You can get it now.
Yes.
That's only in advance, because at the door they go up, and they're selling out fast.
If there are any left at the time, you know, they'll be going up. But and also on this tour with Tim Rogers and the Fellows is a young lady who won BET's Sunday Best program. Yeah, it's a program that used to come on BET and might still come on. I don't know.
I don't keep up
I haven't
with
watched it
everything.
in a while, but it's BET, the network, and it's called Sunday's Best. She won that, and she's been to Tullahoma before also.
And this takes place at Mount Zion
Mount Zion Baptist Church here in Tullahoma.
What is the exact location?
It's 301 South Washington Street.
301 South Washington.
The corner of Washington and Warren.
Starts at 7 o'clock, and I would guarantee you better go early.
Amen. Amen to that. And it's going to be a great night. Also on this tour, there are a couple of other people on the tour that I don't really know about, but they're dynamic singers, I know that. And one of the young ladies that's also on the tour is our own Elder Zenobia McGee, better known as Reverend Snoopy.
And everybody that knows Reverend Snoopy McGee knows that she is fabulous at everything she does. I'm telling you.
Dynamic singer.
There is nobody in Hollywood or anywhere else that's better.
You said that right.
It's true.
Amen to that.
She is amazing.
So this is all happening on the May the 29th. It's going to be on a Tuesday night at Mount Zion Baptist Church here in Tullahoma, corner of Washington and Warren Street. At 7 o'clock. And I do have tickets. Also, if you don't see me or can't contact me, you can always call the church. Mount Zion Baptist Church. It's 841-3949 is the number. So
841-3949.
That's the number for Mount Zion. So one other thing I'd like to talk about is this week going on in Huntsville, Alabama, at Alabama A&M. I've been supporting them for almost 20 years now. Ever since I've been retired, I've gone down there and helped them with...
You support many things.
I do. I try to. Anything that's worthwhile, I do.
You really do.
I appreciate it. It's good to be able to help. And I go down and support them with their jazz-a-thon. They have one of the best, probably the only jazz station that I can pick up in this area. And it's a great jazz station, been on the air for almost 20 years now.
Now, when you say jazz-a-thon, this is on a radio show, and people call in and give money because you're raising money.
It's an NPR radio station.
Right.
And they do this fundraiser once a year. And so right now they've got 9 days of it going on. I was down there Sunday, most of the day Sunday, and I did a little pitching on the air. But this coming Friday, it's going on all this week, and it ends on this coming Sunday. So it's like 9 days of it.
So 9 days of it.
9 days of it, and 9 days will be over Sunday.
And some of the jazz musicians, they're playing the jazz music.
It's called, they play all kinds of music.
Okay.
And it's gospel all day Sunday.
Okay.
From midnight Saturday night to 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon is gospel.
It's all gospel.
It's all gospel every week. And like on Friday, on every Friday there is a poetry corner.
Do we get that here, that station?
We do. If you can get it in where you are. They stream live.
They stream live.
They stream live, so you can pick them up on your internet. It's 90.9 on your radio station dial or your TV, whatever. You can pick them up. They have a TV station also, but 90.9 on the internet, and just pull up WJAB, Alabama A&M.
So you're going to be down there taking phone calls?
I'll be down there taking phone calls several days this week. And also on Friday, I'll be reading poetry from my book, or something I've created anyway. But we'll be doing a live poetry session this coming Friday. He has a poetry program every Friday.
That's wonderful.
But this Friday, we'll be doing a live session. So he invites all his poetry friends come in, and we get in there and we do poetry for about an hour and a half.
I think that's awesome, and that's something I've been wanting to do at the Civic Center. I love poetry, and I don't think we do enough to promote it.
We need to come down.
It's awesome.
Come down and we'll put you on the air for that.
I tell you, I wish we had a lot more time, but don't forget this event that's coming to Mount Zion Baptist Church on the 29th of May, which is Tuesday, 7 o'clock, $10 to get your ticket early. Before you leave, I'm going to give you a check. I need 2 tickets, whether I make it or not, because
great.
I really want to go. All right,
great.
they're cutting us off. We'll be back.
The day the Lord created hope could be the same day He created spring.
Springtime's here. It's a good time to get our air conditioners checked out before those hot summer days get here. We've been here for a little over 35 years. It's been our pleasure to serve our community. We'd like to thank you for Tullahoma's finest, and from all of us to all of you.
Thank you!
Cool off at Southern Middle Tennessee's newest water park, Tullahoma's Splash Island. Fun for all ages. 3 25-foot water slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 6. Join the fun at Tullahoma's Splash Island.
Hello, I'm Gary Cordell, your Coffee County Mayor. 4 years ago, I made a commitment to the citizens of Coffee County that if elected, I would serve our county with honor and integrity. I pledge to work hard, to give 100%, to be effective and efficient in managing your county resources. I want to take this opportunity to assure the citizens of Tullahoma and Coffee County that our county's financial condition is much stronger now than when I came into office 4 years ago. We've had no property tax increase. in the last 3 years, and we reduced our county debt by 11%, from about $80 million down to around $71 million. Our operating reserve fund balance has tripled, and we've improved the jail medical system to 24/7 medical care and saved the county around $1 million in the first 2 years. The most important question you must ask yourself when you walk into the voting booth is simply, who's best qualified to lead our county forward at this critical time? I have over 35 years business management and leadership experience to best lead Coffee County. With the experience and education gained in the last 4 years as your mayor, much has been accomplished, but we've only just begun. Coffee County, let's stay on track. I humbly ask for your vote and support in our May 1st primary. Thank you so much.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford at Tullahoma and Winchester. Check out the 2018 Motor Trend Truck of the Year, the F-150. $9,000 off for the super bad 2018 Ford Mustang. 460 horsepower. And my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hello everyone, I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch and John. We are here today for segment 83 of the Conversations of John and Pat.
Marching to 100, Pat.
Marching to 100. It's going to be a great event.
The Wilburn brothers were somebody that I listened to when I was young. They were in the 50s, 60s, this sort of thing. My brother and I knew some of their songs, and this is one that I'd like to bring up.
Kind of dream that y'all might be on the...
We live 40 miles south of Nashville. We always thought 31A might lead us right straight to the capital of country music.
Wow.
And it did. It did lead us there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we couldn't stick.
But you made it.
We made it a little bit.
I like that story, John, that y'all got on the Grand Ole Opry. We forgot to take any pictures, but you felt like you'd be going back. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to go back.
We thought, and that was August 22nd, 1980. I know it just as well as my marriage date, my birthday. But we went,
maybe not quite as
no,
embedded in your memory as.
But we went, we played, we did good. You know, they applauded for a total of 16 seconds. 16 seconds is a lot. 1001, 1002. They kept. I mean, they saw that we.
I don't know if the clapping at the conclusion of our shows has been that long.
But this is the Wilburn Brothers song.
Play it on.
Roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for a little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. New Orleans into old St. Louis, Stockton, Memphis, Minneapolis too. Back in Nashville, I'll be through. So roll, muddy river, roll on. I love you, but just call it fate. You and I are gonna separate. You'll be here, but she won't wait. So roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on. Roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on. I've got a notion you'll go to the ocean alone. Well, I've got a baby in Tennessee who's long been a-waiting for a little old me. So roll, muddy river, roll on, muddy river, roll on, roll on.
Good, John. And
Wilburn Brothers, Teddy and Doyle. Teddy and Doyle. You know, when they died, like a lot of music industry folks have passed away in the last few years, old singers, it's like somebody in the family died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Idols, almost. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there were so much idols as there were just people that we sort of recognized and knew on television. You know, we recognized their voices.
Emulated and desired to be like.
To tell you the truth, I don't know any of the voices out there today. That's sad, but I don't. Everything is. I listen to talk radio a lot, and to lots of other things.
Well, at one point we used the song as a segue, and sometimes we had to stretch. And today I did see a stretch from your words, the reminders up here, about a muddy river and Memphis.
Yeah.
So remember that part of the song, and I'm gonna bring that back into my.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed. We have had several historical parts on the Civil War, John, before, and we've always made a real good disclaimer that we were not going to take sides and decide which cause was correct and so on and so forth, but we were going to recognize the valor and the sacrifice that both sides went through in the Civil War. And you've got a member of your family that had a horrific injury during the Civil War fighting for the South. And but today we're going to counteract that subsequent stories. We're going to talk about a story from the Union side. And I have mentioned several times that in my travels for my wholesale lumber company that I represent, there's a church between Seymour and Maryville in a very rural area, and that area I believe was the whole area is called Eusebia, and there's a Presbyterian church there that was started in the 1700s, and that I believe
that's a pretty church, man.
It's a beautiful church. And there can't be 300 people living in that community now, but the church has been such a focal point of that area that there's over 1,000 people buried there. Show that. See if we can see that, Philip. That picture number 2. That's just a small part of it. And if you look in the back, kind of the right side, you can see some mountains. Those are the Smokies. And if you come from the entrance of that church out, and it's facing the graveyards in the front of the church, it's a spectacular view of the Smokies.
You know, a lot of communities like that, Pat, were thriving communities back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they were at some point. It doesn't matter how small the community is, if it's existed for long enough, you're going to have plenty of people passing away. Mm-hmm. And I'd say a third to, at some points, maybe even 40% of the stones you'll never be able to read them. They're weathered, it's absolutely slick. But I'd say about every 4 or 5 times I go through there, which is every other week, I'll have enough time to just pull over around that church and go in the graveyard, and I almost always find something that's really interesting, and a lot of it's Civil War. And I found a member of the 3rd Tennessee Cavalry, which was Union Cavalry, and that section of the state was very loyal to the Union, and Andrew Johnson, who became president following Lincoln, he was the Union side governor equivalent of Tennessee, though of course he'd just been to represent basically people in Upper East Tennessee. But anyway, this past time I came through, I got into a section. I say there's over 1,000 graves there. I got in a section in the graveyard. There was a tremendous amount of Pickens, Pickens. It was the name of the family. And once I started looking some of them up, it got to really picking my interest. There was a whole lot of the Pickenses, and I'll get into in a minute, that again served in the 3rd East Tennessee Cavalry Regiment. And one of the field officers, the highest ranking was Colonel William C. Pickens, and found his stone. And Philip, let's go to picture number 4. William C. Pickens is that stone. He was born in 1825 and passed away in 1872, and was the field commander for this cavalry regiment, which was fairly large. His father was Samuel Pickens, and that is picture number 3, Philip. There we go. He was judge of Sevier County, which I think this section that's in Blount County, where this church is now, at that time was part of Sevier County.
Pat, did you do something to that stone to make those words?
Somebody else did.
That's really...
Yeah. That's he lived from 1799 to 1862. Died during the middle of the war. He had another son, Samuel Wiley Pickens, who was a major, and also served under his. Of course, he served under his brother and served in that same cavalry regiment. And his picture, Philip, is number 5. And there's his in his Union uniform. He lived from 1830 to 1906. And they were originally mustered out of, I believe, Murfreesboro. Let me see. We will make sure we're telling where we're supposed to be. And soon after that, they picked up the company of the first part of that cavalry was from Upper East Tennessee was Company A. By the time they were mustered in Murfreesboro, they were added B, C, D, and E. So the regiment's growing big time. And they spent most of their action was in West Tennessee and then down into Mississippi. They came back to the Murfreesboro area after the Battle of Stones River, when the Union, of course, had Bragg retreat out of that. And they, at some point, towards the end of the war, that regiment got into lower Middle Tennessee and then into northern Alabama, and they got cornered by Nathan Bedford Forrest Confederate cavalry, and on September 24th of 1864, men under Samuel Wiley, whose grave we showed, that was a younger brother of the colonel, the Major S.W. Pickens. He and 150 of his men were captured around Athens, and just above Athens the next day was a really small area called Sulphur Trestle. And at that time, Forrest captured another 400 of them on September the 25th. And as the war went on, and a lot of exchange, as it was obvious the South was going to be defeated, the officers were exchanged, so they gained their freedom December 15th. So I know Samuel W. was captured. I'm not sure about his brother, William C. The rest of those men that were in that company, and almost all the ones from Upper East Tennessee, then were going to be released, and they were taken out of a prisoner of war camp and put on a boat in Memphis, which then brings me into the segue of the song. And this was in the spring, I believe, in April of 1865. And the Mississippi, of course, was from the spring and floodwaters and so forth, was flowing really fast south. The boat is having to go north, and somehow, I don't know who is to blame, but the name of the boat was the Sultana, and it was over double occupancy rate that was supposed to be in.
Because they were getting so much money for every passenger.
That's I would hate to bring that human frailty up, but you're probably right, John. But they weren't far out of Memphis, and one of the boilers exploded, and a whole lot of those men were killed. It's over 1,000, and I believe it was something like 175 of the Union cavalry members from Upper East Tennessee were killed. In fact, I could not find the stone, but I did find some records that one of Pickens, another relative of these two officers, that he was not exchanged with the other officers. He lost his life in that explosion. And then, for a little bit of a side note, there was a not related closely, not another brother or a son of these two officers, is a Dr. Thomas H. Pickens, who was buried in that cemetery in that same area where all these Pickenses are buried in Eusebia. And he lived from 1864 to 1897. And he was 32 when he died, and I found a mention on findagrave.com that this Dr. Pickens was killed and shot by Dr. McPherson. And that's the only note I could find about his death. And I have spent several hours of time, and maybe I'm a little bit too fixated on it, trying to find out what happened there.
It looks like they broke the Hippocratic Oath.
There was some kind of problem there because Dr. McPherson was not tried. I mean, I've researched and researched, and you can't find anything other than Dr. Pickens was killed by Dr. McPherson when he was only 32 years old. And we will leave our listeners and viewers to their imagination what in the world could happen where a man wasn't tried for a man murder.
That was interesting, Pat. Yeah. East Tennessee, the Union Army, and we're going to talk about the Southern Army here before long.
We'll pick up the Southern Army, and we're going to talk about the valor of one of his relatives, and I'm eagerly anticipating that. And this was closed out segment 83. We're not done. Management is desiring us to get to at least 100, and we can hardly wait. Thank you all.
Talking about the Sandman. Good conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street, heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one!
Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the other day, Traders National Bank, downtown Tullahoma, probably the oldest bank in Tullahoma now, had an anniversary party, and News Leader was there. Let's go to that video.
This is the actual day of Traders Bank's 129th birthday. So our employees thought that this would give us a reason to celebrate, give us a reason to chit-chat with customers, and an opportunity to tell our story to the community. So our goal today, Jimmy, is to tell our story that has lasted 129 years so far.
129 years, I'd have to say, if you've been in business this long, you guys must be doing something right.
Mm-hmm. The story I thought would be appropriate to tell is Taking Care of Business, and that's a song that Bachman Turner sang. And to me, what this special day means is Traders Bank employees has been taking care of business for customers in the communities that we serve for 129 years. If you compare that to a human being, how many people last 129 years and are still healthy? And I can unequivocally tell you that Traders Bank's balance sheet, safety and soundness, and all measures that are important in evaluating the safetiness of a bank are good at 129 years. So I'm grateful that we've been taking care of business and that our customers have allowed us to serve their needs for this length of time.
You know, as I was waiting to speak with you, Tommy, a moment ago, I had one of your customers said, it's hard to imagine that they've been in business for 129 years, and when you walk in the door, they still know you like they always did.
We strive hard on that. We have Thursday meetings that actually our chef hot dog cook, Dave Johnson, hosts, and at least 1 or 2 out of every 4, we emphasize the importance of calling our customer by name, because you're a person at Traders Bank. You're not a number.
I know that you and your family have had a long affiliation with this bank. Can you comment on that just a little bit?
Oh, I don't want to be selfish and bring it to be an Anderton story, but since you've asked, my father worked at Traders Bank for 36 years. I started 52 years ago. I started at 40 cents an hour when I was 12, wrapping coins for Traders Bank. Estel worked for 36 years at Traders Bank, and now I've been here for 8 years. So this has been part of the Anderton family life a long, long time.
You know, I would ask you about some of the changes that you've witnessed since your dad's age. I'm sure there have been a lot of them. You want to comment on a few of them?
Well, the first one I'll comment on is Sheila Sudbury getting help out at Shortstop Market actually this week, where she needed help getting her gas thing open, and a man came up to her and saw her name tag and said, "You work at Traders Bank?" And they said, "Estel Anderton loaned me $600 to buy a car," and I didn't even have to sign my name, because back then we didn't even have computers, Jimmy. Correct. So Daddy used to loan money when they didn't have computers, and they'd just do cards and figure out the payments. So obviously times have changed, things have gotten more advanced in our world, but the good old days where Estel Anderton could make you a car loan and not even sign your name shows the personal touch that Traders Bank is so well known for.
Well, I can personally say that you treat your customers well, and you're doing that here today, because the food is great and the company's better, and the stories from some of the officers here, they're great as well, Tommy, and I thank you so much for what you guys are doing here today.
We're grateful for our customers, our advisory board, and for you allowing us a minute to share our story. Thank you so much.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard, beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mate. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterware.
Yes, Roosterware is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterware specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with a material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterware.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network. All right, folks, we're back, and Saturday I went over to Pan Blue Ruza or something, whatever. Becky Buller's students in Manchester at Pancakes and Fun on the Square. That's how we're going to close her out today.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was
See
fun.
you next time. All right, now we have Becky Buller and Nate Lee and Romy. And this is a Pancake-a-Loza or Pan-a-Loza?
Pan-Baloo.
Pan-Baloo.
Yeah, so it's kind of a mishmash between pancakes and bluegrass music, and I think it's paying a little bit of homage to Bonnaroo. And this is our third year doing this. It's a glorified recital for my students, and Nate brought some of his students this year, which was a wonderful addition. Had one of them come in from Indiana, one of them came in from Texas.
That's great.
Be part of this. I had students from Indiana and the Knoxville area, as well as a bunch of students from here in Manchester.
Great.
And it was a lot of fun. So all the proceeds from the sale of pancakes today went toward beautifying our historic Coffee County Courthouse Square.
There you go. Well, listen, it was great. The music was great. The food was good. And the sunshine was outstanding. And there were a whole lot of people having a really good time.
Thank you for
Thanks to
coming
you
out.
two and your students.
Yeah.
So keep it blue,
We'll
grass.
try. Can we tell them about a gig we have coming up?
What gig's that?
Okay.
Of course. No, you can't tell them, Becky.
You want to tell them?
May 19th at the Birdsong Studio in Woodbury.
Woodbury, Tennessee. Yeah, it's Robin Taylor's Birdsong Studio, and she does a concert series every year. It's an intimate setting, so if you're coming, you want to get your tickets ahead of time, and you can do that by going to my website, BeckyBuller.com, click on the tour page, and then click on the May 19th gig, and it'll get you where you need to go, and you can get those tickets ahead and be ready to go and be assured of a seat. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do songs that we play with the Becky Buller Band, but also some new tunes, some tunes from Nate's album, Plays Well with Others. And
does he?
He does. He does. He really is a pleasure to work with. He's been in my band for, 2 years now?
All right.
We're going on 3. Wow.
Well, congratulations, y'all, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the road, in the studio, and rolling around in my mind on a disc. Thank you much.
Thanks, John.
Just let go and stop.
You can't lean over because you got to fall. You can't grab hold of it. Grab hold of it. I've been down the whole time in the break.